Morning. It's cold today. Dropped down to about 30 degrees last night, 31. Really nice. Like it like this. A little cold north wind blowing. Spent the morning cleaning, getting leaves cleaned up around the house and cleaned the inside of the house. I worked the last 3 days. It was really busy, exhausting. It's one of those days where you go, am I going to be able to do this job in a few more years? Or, you just hope your body holds up. And just it's just a grinder. But anyway, so I was just thinking about a lot of things the last few days, just a lot of stuff coming up in my mind, nothing really too huge, but one of the things I was kind of thinking about was, and I'm just talking about me personally, is I've kind of just been kind of standoffish with things, and it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust people. It's hard to trust. It's really, as you get older, I guess even when you're young, but it's just when you're young, you're exposed to so many more people and stuff. But when you get older, it just seems like you become more reclusive and it's easier to be on your own more. And actually, I kind of desire that now. And there's people that I could have probably been better friends to and things like that. But I don't know, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of commonality there. And you just don't want to waste your energy and waste their time. And so I just kind of have turned inward to myself, and it's kind of working for me. It's doing really well, and I'm working on, building. I was listening to these NDE videos that Ions has a network, a YouTube. You guys probably already listened to them before. I'll try to link it, but it was a really good video, and they were reading accounts of people who had not just near death experiences, but people who had out of body experiences that were like near death experiences, like spiritual experiences. It's very interesting how people are describing this, what we would call God, this universal consciousness, as a personality. And I just think that's so fascinating, and I really want to explore that. And you know, I guess when we talk about becoming closer to God, that's what we really want, right? And we want that personal connection, and we want that real friendship. Not this something where somebody just needs something from you, or you need something from someone. It's just that real true friendship. I think we don't have very many friends like that in our lives. I mean, I have one person who's been a true friend my whole life, and we met in fifth grade, and we're still friends. We still email, but nobody else. And it's just interesting. And I think that we really are deep down in our hearts, we really want that personal connection. We want to be reconnected with um, that personality, not just this vague concept of God and this higher consciousness that's just so aloof and so far removed from us. I think that's an illusion, really, that we're really supposed to have this direct connection to God. And I know for doing this Sahaj Marg, I think it has started. It starts with the Pranahuti for me. I mean, it always comes back to that because you know for me, the Pranahuti is kind of like this unconditional flow of whatever it is, that they call it the forceless force. Babaji call it the forceless force, or Lalaji, or whoever. Lalaji is the first president, or first, basically leader of the system, and then Babaji is the second one. And it is like a forceless force. It's interesting. I've had some clarity with what Pranahuti was, and had an experience of I kind of had a little experience of what it was, and it was, for me, it was just this almost a void, like this void, but it was something. It's non-substance, but it's substance. I guess that's why it's called forceless force. It's just something so like our physics can't describe it. The modern day physics wouldn't be able to describe what this is. And anyway, so I guess that's what it is for me, is just that connection with the Pranahuti kind of reignited that in my spirit, that this feeling of love and peace and satisfaction and completeness. And And those are real things. I mean, I had real bad anxiety. I wouldn't say real bad. I mean, I was never on meds or anything, but I would get real worked up about stuff. And uh, since I've been doing Sahaj Marg, that feeling of anxiety went away. And I've been in some pretty intense emotional things since then. And when I had that happen to me, I could feel this support. And it kind of brings me back around to what I was kind of talking about was this feeling of friendship, this feeling of and I had this thought in my mind the last few days that, like, you know what? It's okay to it's okay to wrap this stuff around you and to take it in as your own. You don't have to worry about it. I don't have to justify it to anyone. I don't have to explain it to anyone. It doesn't matter, it's kind of like, you know, we can make a decision to I think what happens is we get burned, we get burned in our life. And I think a lot of us, at least I know for me personally, but I think a lot of people have been spiritually burned. We tried to give our heart to Jesus. We went to church. I went to church camp and did all the prayers and all that and prayed for, all that stuff. And it just seemed empty and hollow, like there was nothing there. And, you try over the years, I did TM, and TM was good, but it was just kind of this um, very mechanical, very scientific angle on the whole thing. And I that's why I don't judge. I mean, everybody's got to come at things from a different angle, but for me, I felt kind of burned by it all. I just felt like I didn't achieve what I had set out to achieve, and it left me with the feeling like I had done something wrong, or I was inadequate, or something was wrong with me. And I would say with this Sahaj Marg, it's the first thing I've come across where I felt like it belongs to me. It belongs to me. This is my path, and I can kind of fight with it, and I can sit there and go, oh, but the masters, well, that's just I don't believe in that, and blah blah blah. And they're not masters. They're assistants. They're giving us assistance. And if you think of it in the proper way, it changes the perspective on it. And it's like I was talking with someone about UFO stuff, and people have this idea that these entities are, these aliens are something different than us, and they're just an extension of our consciousness, really. I mean, we're all connected in the universal consciousness. So um, I look at it like a long lost relative, that's coming, and they're going to reveal themselves, and they're going to show us a whole nother world. And I believe that too with these, with the assistants like Babaji and Kamlesh and all the all the people that are helping on your spiritual path. And it's these people have been put there by God to help other people. And it's hard for us to comprehend that because we're just at the lower levels, you're just in such a selfish mode. We're just so selfish. Everything is all about us and what we can get and what we can get from it. And I think that until we achieve these higher states of consciousness, we're stuck thinking that it's just about us. And what it really is about is love, and how much love can we give? How much love can we receive, and then turn around, and then how much love can we give? And I kind of had this thought at work when I was doing my job that I'm receiving pranahuti throughout the day. I'm receiving this godly love and energy throughout the day, but I'm also I was thinking like, well, these people that I'm interacting with, what if I was just a transmitter for them? What if I was actually transmitting this pranahuti to them indirectly? Like, I don't even have to think about it. I just provide the vehicle for that. And it was kind of an interesting thought. And I'm going to ask my friend Chiranjiva. He's a heartfulness trainer, and he's lives not too far from me, about 20 miles away. I went out and spent a couple sessions with him. I did, just a one-on-one personal meditation, did a cleaning with him, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I really, at the time, when I got the cleaning, it was, uh, all I could think about was kind of like the chair was uncomfortable. But when I went home and the next few days, and I could really tell something shifted in my mind, and I had some interesting little revelations come to me over the next few days, and it was just kind of a blessing. I feel blessed that this has come to me. I've just been kind of fighting with it a little bit. I've been kind of, I don't know, not wanting to give into it just because I think I have this little fear of getting burned again. Or, I think we all have that. I mean, you can't live to adulthood in this life without having heartbreak and disappointments and people letting you down. And anyway, so I was just going to throw that out there, that I just feel like it's okay to let this wrap around you. And whatever it is, it might be something else for other people. And, but the last thing I'll talk about is, this lady had this in this Ian's video. She had this experience of, she was trying to raise her son by herself, and her parents, she was having to live with her parents. And this was back in the 60s when, being a pregnant or a single mother was very unsocially acceptable. But she had an experience of Jesus, and she experienced, the crucifixion. She saw his suffering, and what her message of that was is that, we're told in church that God sacrificed his son, his only son, for humanity, for the sins of humanity. And she said that's not true, that Jesus he just loved so much, and he basically came here to give love to people that wouldn't otherwise receive love, to give them true unconditional love. Now, obviously, he was very advanced. I mean, super advanced. And some people say he was a Palladian, and people say all kinds of things. It doesn't really matter. I mean, he definitely was a beacon of love, but I think his message got, usurped and got twisted and was used as a control device. And that kind of verified it for me, because I've always kind of struggled with it a little bit, this whole thing when these Christians get on and they start saying, "Oh, you're going to go to hell if you, don't believe this, and Jesus is the only way," and all that. And I would certainly say, what I believe in my heart is that Jesus would never approach us like that. It's all about love. It's all love. And these people that are assisting on a spiritual level are like spiritual brothers to Jesus, and they're, I mean, anyone who's helping uplift humanity to a higher level becomes a spiritual brother. We're all become spiritual brothers and sisters, and we're all connected, and we're all sharing in that desire to lift, to a higher level. And we can perform that action, and I think it's important to be on your own a little bit, and perform those, that service. Like I said, just like even going to my job, I mean, it's, I'm not saying I don't get upset. I'm not saying I don't get cranky. I'm not saying, I mean, I am definitely, a human being, and I react as such with all the fallacies and all the faults. But I do try to remember that, it is service, and I'm serving, God ultimately. But anyway, just some thoughts. I hope you guys have a good day.